there it is.
You ready, Dr. Jen?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Conrad, hit go live. You got it?
No, you won't be able to come up there and do it.
Yep.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Tim Coleman, meteorologist here at CBS 42 in the Storm Team Weather Center, along with meteorologist Taylor Plott and meteorologist Sarah Canty. We're watching this developing severe weather situation. The Storm Prediction Center just added a new tornado watch. It includes the northern about third of Alabama. It goes as far south as Lamar County, Fayette County, Walker County, Coleman County, Blount, Etowah, and Cherokee counties. So this does not include Jefferson or Shelby counties at this time, the actual Birmingham metropolitan area, nor does it include Tuscaloosa or Anniston. So as far as our viewing area, it's that top tier of counties that we've been emphasizing over the past 24 hours as the most likely area for tornadoes. We see this long squall line extending from north of Nashville all the way back down through Nashville into northern Mississippi. That has been producing a lot of lightning, as you can see. If we could remove that lightning real quick and just look at the watches, and just let's look at the radar data here and see what we've got going on. This line has become a little bit more of a solid line in the northern part of it here in the past, I don't know, say 30 minutes to an hour. It doesn't look as much, it doesn't look as supercellular. There's not as many little curlicues in it as I mentioned before. And so right now, we don't have any tornado warnings in effect in this line that I'm aware of. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for this storm right here.
We do up in the Tennessee area.
Oh, we do? Okay,
yeah,
there's one in Tennessee.
I will circle it real quick. It's up in that part of the line.
Okay,
right
so it's up in Tennessee. We
Yeah.
had a tornado warning down here earlier, and that does look like a suspicious little inflow notch on that storm. But the thing that we're waiting to see is this. The best wind shear all night has been up here in the northern parts of the area, and parts of Tennessee and northern Mississippi, even up into Kentucky. There's almost no instability up here. Wind shear is that ability of the atmosphere to produce storms. Basically, when the wind changes direction and speed with height, it's almost like a spiral of a football that's been thrown, a pass that's been thrown, and then a thunderstorm updraft hits it. That spiraling motion goes from this way to this way, and it causes rotating thunderstorms. We've got that wind shear going on, and it's really maxed out up here in parts of Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and northwest Alabama. And so far tonight, that's where we have seen most of the tornado warnings going on. I'm not really sure what's going on behind me right now. I think that's the I-22 cam in Mississippi. This is very close to Tupelo. There's been a good bit of lightning flashes. Oh, yeah, there was a good one right there. The storms are moving in there right now. So clearly, when we see all this lightning, we know that the updrafts are vigorous enough to get the rain up there and freeze it and get the lightning going. So a lot of lightning, actually fairly frequent lightning here on I-22. And this is very near Tupelo, Mississippi. This is from the Mississippi DOT. So if we can go back to radar now, we can see that storm that's causing this lightning.
Yeah, I'm looking at the reflectivity real quick. I'm not really seeing anything. They got a severe thunderstorm warning out in that area.
Is this GWX?
This is GWX, yes. And I'm trying to get the regular reflectivity on there. Here we go. So I imagine that camera was on 22. I'm guessing it was facing Tupelo. Is that where it is? Is it facing to the east?
I would think that it's facing west.
I don't know if the directors can verify that or not.
But we see a lot of lightning strikes here. Let's get that off of there a minute so we can really just kind of get in there and see the structure of these storms. And what we do see here is a more solid line, so to speak. That more speaks to damaging straight line winds, a lot of lightning, maybe even some small hail, and very heavy rain. Now we do see this little appendage here. Those are sometimes associated with tornadoes. Let's go further to the south, down into central Mississippi, because those are the storms that could potentially affect our viewing area here. Places like Pickens County, Tuscaloosa County, Lamar, Marion, Fayette, and Winston counties here in 2 or 3 hours. And what we're seeing here is that these storms are not that impressive right now. There's Greenwood right there in the north central part of Mississippi, going on down I-55 or just west of I-55. towards Yazoo City and eventually towards Jackson. These storms not looking that impressive right now, which is fascinating because there's better instability down here than there is further north. So clearly this is a night where wind shear is driving the storms as opposed to instability. We're not sure if that's going to hang on. If we can back the view out now and kind of look at the big view, what we will see over the next 2 or 3 hours, we've got some very humid, warm air coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, and it will overspread the western part of Alabama as far north as I-22, Marion County, Winston County, Lamar, Fayette, and Walker counties, even Pickens and Tuscaloosa County. So lots of instability moving up here. The question will be, as the wind shear starts to pull out to the north and the instability really starts to increase from the south, will that cause the storms to weaken, or will it cause them to intensify, or they'll stay the same? Probably the best bet is that they'll stay about the same, and that would be good news because with no tornado warnings right now in Mississippi, we'd mainly be talking about a straight line wind event in Alabama. We just can't say that for sure yet, given the instability that will be moving in over the next 2 to 3 hours. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Again, the tornado watch has been issued up here in the northern parts of the area as far south as Jasper, Fayette, and Sulligent in Lamar County, also including Gadsden and Center, and also actually including Blount County, including Aniana. So that's where the tornado watch is. The Storm Prediction Center clearly feels that the wind shear will just continue to drive these storms, and without it, even though we have some wind shear in Birmingham, it seems that the storms tonight need a lot of it. We're still going to be watching out for that down to the south, and to talk a little bit more about that, I'm going to toss it to Taylor Plott, who has been examining those instability parameters quite a bit here in the past hour.
Yeah, Tim, actually was just looking at it just a second ago, and we're starting to get a plume of instability well out ahead of this front. And you probably heard us toss this word around called CAPE, and basically all that is how much energy is in the atmosphere. Think of a pot of water on an eye. You turn that eye on and it starts to boil. Well, you got that steam rising up. That's the instability in the atmosphere. And so we're getting a lot of that steam rising up in the air. If we take the radar full behind me, we're seeing a lot of the storms just to the west of Tupelo starting to intensify a little bit. And that's going to be what we're going to be watching for, is how will these storms react when they move later on into the evening here across Alabama. And that's just one question. And some of the model data has been showing that it will actually intensify as it heads into the state of Alabama. But as Tim said, at that time, the better shear and better overall dynamics will be moving later on into the area. So Tim, I don't know if you want to drive the radar for me. I get in here and get a little closer. So the cell that's just to the west and actually now moving into Tupelo itself, that does have a severe thunderstorm warning on it. And one thing we'll watch is what happens on the back side, because it appears, while I was looking at the radar, that this kind of is one cell, one supercell that's actually embedded in the line. It's kind of jumbled up, but the Weather Service is not seeing much rotation with it, therefore it has just that severe thunderstorm warning on it. If we go further down on the south side of the line, if we can move further south, we're starting to see the cells just to the south near Coffeyville and Grenada. I've been watching those, and it appears that they are starting to strengthen just a little bit. So we'll have to watch these, and if these continue to strengthen, they would eventually move towards the Tupelo area and eventually potentially clipping our far northwestern counties here in the Birmingham market for Marion County and Hamilton and maybe even Lamar County. One concern that I would have when this line moves through is what happens here in this area. We've been talking about this tonight, me and Dr. Tim and Sarah, and for a brief moment in time, for about a 2 to 3 hour period, it looks like the best shear that is still available and the best instability could be maximized in the area from Hamilton down to Jasper, maybe even Coleman County, to the north of Birmingham, to maybe Wyndham Springs, Lamar County, and Pickens County, and maybe even northern Tuscaloosa County. And that the models have actually been hinting at the potential right in this area. I don't know if Dr. Tim, you want to come in and kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, you know, the models have been showing the increase in instability in these areas in west central Alabama and east central Mississippi. We've been seeing that going back to computer models coming out early this morning. And with the high temperature and humidity values, the high dew point values, I think it will happen. It's just a question, with the wind shear pulling away, and what we've seen so far today is that the strongest storms have been with the wind shear and not the Cape. As that wind shear starts to pull away, will the instability be enough to keep things going? That's just something that we'll have to keep an eye on. It is a possibility, though, and even though Tuscaloosa County, Jefferson, Shelby County are not in the tornado watch, I would still, as I go to bed tonight, have a source of weather information that will wake you up in the event of a tornado warning. Weather radio, a weather app that will wake you up, something to get you wake up. Don't count on those outdoor sirens, especially at night in a deep sleep. You can't count on those to wake you up. But definitely, especially in our northern counties, along and north of a line from, say, Sullivan and Lamar County to Jasper, over to about Gadsden, and then center, that is the highest threat for the night. So for Taylor Plott and Sarah Canny, I'm Dr. Tim Coleman here in the CBS 42 Storm Team Weather Center. We'll keep an eye on these storms for you, and Sarah will have another update on CBS 42 coming up at around 11 p.m. at the top of the hour. We'll have another Facebook Live coming up after that.